Welcome everyone to my channel. We are going to discuss about the International Advanced Subsidiary Advanced Level Unit Fund Marketing and People. This is 2019 January paper. According to new syllabus, IAL is the first paper. So today in this session, we are going to learn new thing about the paper structure and the section A we are going to discuss today. Okay. Let me first of all go to the section A case study. So normally the paper structure of this paper, normally there are three sections: section A, section B, and section C, right? So section A consists of this case study, extract A and extract B, the case study, the growth of clothing retailer Primark. When you're reading a case study, my dear students, when you're reading a case study, always in examination, use some kind of a pencil or underliner or highlighter, and please, you can mainly highlight the numbers, dates, names, locations, percentage signs, years, because these highlighted contents you can use in your application, the contextual answers. So in this case study, you can see the retailer Primark has a 6.9% share in the UK clothing market by value. So definitely you should highlight 6.9% share of the UK market value in this case. And also you can see it compared to the next at 7.1%. Mark and Spencer remain the UK's biggest clothing retailer. So these names you can underline: Mark and Spencer, UK biggest clothing retailer with 8.1% market share. Right? Because this is important, because when you're reading in this case study, read with some kind of idea. Always you can use that knowledge, that application skills you can use when you're writing some answers. Therefore, Primark is predicted to overtake the next to become the UK's second biggest clothing retailer. Right, so the biggest retailer is Mark and Spencer, and secondly the next, and then third position right now Mark and Primark. So now they wanted to go to the second position. Low price have helped increase the market share for Primark, even though it does not sell online. Okay, so you can see now another important section to highlight: low prices have helped increase the market share. So this is a good marketing strategy. We call this a mass marketing strategy, low price, and they like to be a cost leader, right? Cost leadership in the market, and then you want to increase market share. So therefore, mass marketing strategy for Primark, even though it does not sell online, so they don't have the online presence yet, which is a source of the most sales growth in the clothing sector, right? There will be, I think, online sales is really important, like a trending thing, online retailing, right? This comes under like a distribution or promotion. You can use it for several things. Online retailing can be good, like especially they're talking about the B2C concept, business to customer concepts here. As Primarks, they can, during, so many times, I think, because the pandemic situation right now actually boosts a lot of online sales. A lot of people actually, they are ordering to online sources because it's very easy, convenient for them. No need to go to shopping malls, and the brick and mortar, the cost is minimized, and therefore market share can increase. So therefore online sales was not there yet, right? There was a clothing sector. Sales for Primark has increased each year except 2016, and there was a slight fall. Third para, Primark offer a wide product portfolio, including clothing for women, men, and children. So you can underline these things. What is their product portfolio? Their target market: women, men, and children, as well as household and beauty products. This is very important to highlight, because their product portfolio you should know when you're reading a question. New products are delivered to the shops every week to keep up with the latest trends and fashions. That is really important to be updated, because especially fashion industry is a very updated and dynamic industry. The new products delivered the shops every week, weekly basis, they are changing, right? Because otherwise they can't keep the market share, because it's a very dynamic industry, seasonal business, right? And Primark have grown because it sells up-to-date fashion. That's another unique feature, because they are selling up-to-date fashion. You can see the evidence here, because every week they are updating their product, right? And then also Primark have grown because it sells up-to-date fashion at low prices. Low prices is there. It also sells in the large quantities. So I mentioned is again their marketing strategy they are displaying here: low prices and large quantities, cost leadership, mass market in the UK, US, and Europe. three different market segments, UK, US, and Europe. Primark's social media following is increasing rapidly as it has become common for young people to view clothing on their cell phones before going into shops. So Primark's social media following is increasing rapidly also. This has become common for young people to view clothing on their cell phones before going to shops, definitely. So another important trending in the marketing using social media platforms. Can see like you can use especially social media platforms like Facebook page, simply Instagram, and YouTube. You can use the social media platforms to increase their rapidly sales because everyone nowadays actually the mobile phones they're using, smartphones, cell phones before going into shops. They are using these reviews and everything, seller reviews, customer reviews. They're definitely looking at this. Therefore, it is really important. You can boost your sales by using influencer marketing, social media. Influencers are there. Referral marketing, so you see very important marketing trend in current world. That's all about the extract A regarding the section A. Let's go to the next extract B, the same case study. It's another part, especially the section A, the 10 mark is based on this question. Ethical sourcing at Primark. Ethical sourcing at Primark. So in the first paragraph, the first extract B, we find out mainly their marketing strategy and their product portfolio, their target market, everything, right? Market segmentation, right? STP, everything. Market segmentation, target market, and the product positioning, marketing strategies, everything we have learned in the first para. Look at the second para, they are giving it another market in their strategy as well as a strength. Ethical sourcing at Primark. Ethical sourcing is another social trend regarding the marketing. Primark do not own any factories, but buy clothing from suppliers in 31 countries. Right, so not only Primark, most of them, including here Next, Mark and Spencer, everyone, what they do, they outsource to other countries, including here they are mentioning 31 countries in the all over the world. So mainly, I think majority, mostly Asian countries, including Thailand, Vietnam, China, must be there. In the past, Primark has faced a lot of criticism about the working conditions and safety in the factories that producing clothing. So you can underline here 31 countries, right? And then do not own any factory. They don't only just selling just a brand name, and they're selling in three big markets, US, UK, and Europe. So they are factories, everything they outsourced 31 countries. That's what a lot of actually luxury brands and successful international multinational companies, they do. This is the thing. Some locations are there good for selling, some locations are there good for manufacturing. So they have 31 manufacturing locations, and main three continents they have US, UK, and Europe. Right? In the past, they have faced so much of criticism regarding the working conditions, product safety in the factory, and that produce clothing. So ethical sourcing continues to be much discussed topic as there is increased awareness about how clothes are made. Right, because especially you can see these garment factories, sometimes they can criticize by the public by using child labor, right, and giving low wages, because sweatshops and all these conditions can be there. So Primark's new ethical policy aim to ensure that the factories supplying the clothing, it's very important how they comply with this thing. Their new ethical policy, what is the ethical policy aim to ensure that the factories supplying the clothing meet the Primark code of conduct. They have their own code of conduct. Excellent. It states, amongst other things, that child labor should not be used. Child labor should not be used, and working conditions should be safe. Working conditions should be safe. They blame the criticism actually previously, it came from these two angles, child labor and the unsafe working conditions. But now they have a huge protocol to conduct carefully these things. They are monitoring, they are not using child labor, and they have a safe and sound working conditions for the employees. Primark have a team of over 100 people. So their job to go to these 31 countries and report these things, right? 100 people who are responsible for ethical sourcing. Nice, right? Suppliers of the company are subjected to a series of spot checks. Spot checks. You have to go to factories. If you give them some order for a garment factory, this company, this team, they go into that factory, spot checks, sometimes randomly, and they're checking and they're auditing, they are ensuring the continued compliance with the Primark code of conduct. So it's an excellent case study. So it's all about Primark, the clothing retailer. You can see the first para they mentioned about their market share, their marketing strategy, and their position in the market, and their target market, product positioning, and everything. And the second position, the second extracts, they're giving about the ethical sourcing section. Okay, let's go to the question and answer session now. Extract A. Question number 1. Define the term product portfolio. Definition question. Always AO1 question. Definition. They define the term product portfolio. Extract A, line 8. They have given the exact location. Their product portfolio means their target market, the product they are selling. So product portfolio, when you're defining, you can mention about the products, what is the main definition come from, derived from. Product portfolio. It's a range of product and services. 2-mark question. Must have these keywords there in your answer. Range of product and services that is sold, produced by a business. Range of products and services that is sold or produced by a business called product portfolio. So no need to give the applications in this case, because only AO1 knowledge parts, only 2 marks you can easily earn from there. Okay. So let's go to the second question. Second question, this case is calculation questions. In always A's papers, you can see unit 1 especially, section B, can you question number 1, part B, always a calculation questions. Right? We have evidence that normally, if you analyze all the past paper questions, you can see section question of 1, part B is always a calculation question, either YED or income elasticity of demand here, or YED or PED or price elasticity of demand or something like that. Go this the past paper questions, you can see mainly, you can see always the question number 2, 4-mark question is, you can see the green color sections. All these past paper questions are calculation questions. 2-mark questions, right? So this case also, you have using data, calculate the income elasticity of demand, YED, for in Primark in 2016. You are advised to show your working. Like IGCSE here, we are not getting any formula sheet, so you have to memorize the formulas, especially demand and supply lesson. It's really important because it's always an exam pilot area. When you're taking the calculating income elasticity of demand, the income elasticity of demand formula, always you are calculated by delta QD over delta Y. How much the percentage of quantity demand, right, in response to the percentage of income difference. So here they're given the figures. 2016 Primark sales fell by 2% from the previous year. Sales falling by -2%. So they are given the delta QD. Also in 2016, average UK wages rose from 520 to 533 per week. You can hear you have to do a small work in there. So final minus initial over initial into 100, percentage difference in the delta. Why you can find out how much income change. This increased to 520 to 533. You can say the difference 13. Difference is there, 13 pound divided by 520 into 100. You can see the percentage difference of the income, and then you can divide it, and you can find out the value of the YED like this. In the formula, YED equal percentage change in quantity demand divided by percentage change in income. So answer is, you can see here, minus 0.8. The percentage of quantity demand value is given -2 in the answer. Demand going down. The change in income, we can find out like this. Final minus initial over initial into 100, that is 2.5%. -2 divided by 2.5% is 0.8. So here YED is a negative value, which means this indicates that when the income increased by 2.5%, demand decreased by 2%, which is when you're defining this, interpreting this YED value, negative YED in the sense it's a inferior product. So we don't ask to interpret that, but just a calculation. Look at the way they are answering, they are marking. If you just provide -0.8, you can award 4 marks with or without calculations. But I always encourage my student to show the applications, show the calculations, substitutions. Even though I answer wrong, sometimes we can give these marks for the substitutions. If you answer without minus sign, if you just give the answer 0.8, then it's 3 marks. So you're losing 1 mark because you're not here adding the minus figure. So very careful when applying this formula. Put the positive figures, negative figures, percentage sign. Sometimes carefully you can manage that thing. Okay, let's go to the question number 1, part C. So 2 marker, 4 marker, now 6 marker question, analyze question. It goes like that: 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10, right? So analyze 2 possible difficulties Primark face selling to a mass market. So in the beginning onwards, I told you this Primark main sales strategy is a cost leadership strategy. They're targeting mass market. They're analyzing 2 possible difficulties of Primark they face from selling to mass market. When you're writing a 6 marker analyze question, right, you have to write 2 analyze points, right? It's AO2 and AO3, right? Application and analysis. 2 possible difficulties. 2 possible difficulties by selling to mass. When you're selling to mass market, right, your profit margin is low. Quantity is very high. It's a cheap market. Like more quantity, large number, but low price. In mass market, another thing is high competition. So you have to spend a lot in advertising. High competition. You can see they are reaching to 3rd position in the market. So the next year they want to they want to be number 2 in the market after next, right? Mark and Spencer next, and then this is Primark. So huge marketing cost you need because huge competition, low profit margin. These things are there. So you have to analyze with the use of Primark case study, right? When you analyze in this question, you have to analyze like that. You have to define 6 marker. There's a nice method that you can answer. There are 2 methods are there, but always my recommended this method is a second method, right? You can start by defining your answer. I is pointing to difficulties. So I always encourage my student to write the 2 possible difficulties or 2 possible points without writing the definition. If you have 100% sure about the definition, only take that risk, right? Because when you start with the definition, no problem, that's correct. But sometimes if you are not 100% correct, 100% accurate, sometimes you might not get that 2 marks. Sometimes you might be ended up with only just 1 mark, and they are losing that 1 mark. But here, when you go with the second option, you don't have that risk. You don't have that risk of losing marks. So you can get that 2 mark for the knowledge. That's why there are 2 methods are there starting in a 6 marker question. Either you can start with the definition, or either you can point out the 2 difficulties or 2 limitations or 2 advantages, and then you can develop those points. Even the examiner also, they recommend in the second point. So it's your option anyway. If you know the definition of a mass market when a given 6 marker question, definitely you can go ahead with your selected option. Nothing to worry. So here mass market definition is a large unsegmented market where mass appeal products are on sale. It's a large unsegmented market, right? And where mass appeal products are on sale. Or without mentioning this definition, you can say the methods the Primark know 2 difficulties are: firstly, they have high level of competition, and secondly, the second limitation is that there's low profit margins than a niche market. So now you have to develop that points, because if you mention those points, then the next step is the developing those 2 points with the application process. And if you say there's a high competition, you can say Primark faces competition from other fashion retailers such as Next. And you can mention Mark and Spencer as well. And as a result of that, what happened? Primark must differentiate itself from the other brands to be successful. In this case, you can say another point: every week they're updating their product portfolio. Every week they're updating their products in the showrooms, which want to make them more updated look. New arrivals always there. Every week when you go to shop, new arrivals are coming. And moreover, the low profit margin, you can say Primark sells clothing and product at low prices, low profit margin than a niche market. So look at the analysis point. Primark must continually try to operate to keep costs low, such as not spending on advertising. There's a low profit margin. Definitely then what to do? Then you have to keep your costs low, such as not spending on advertising. So like that, so you can analyze that point. So 2 mark for knowledge, 2 mark for application, and 2 mark for analysis point. So make sure the starting point is very crucial. You can either start this question by defining what is the mass market, or giving 2 difficulties separately, and then develop those points. That is my most favorite method and the recommended method by examiner as well. So, but anyway, it's up to you to decide which method you're selecting in the examination based on the given situation, right? Okay, let's go to the next question. This is an 8 marker question we're going to discuss right now. It's 2, 4, 6, and 8. So always even numbers, right? And then you can see the part B of the section A. Discuss the benefit to Primark of using cost plus pricing system. Cost plus pricing system is another marketing thing, price marketing mix pricing. When you're going to discussion question, always similar situation, you can define what is the main thing, AO1, knowledge part, and then give the 2 positives in favor of that, and then 2 negatives. So however, 8 marker, we don't need a conclusion, right? So you can start with that by giving the definition of the what is cost plus price system, and then you can give the 2 benefits of the cost plus price system and 2 limitations as well. Even though it's mentioned define benefits and everything, but always 8 marker question, because since the command word is discussed, you have to always have some kind of evaluation as well, right? So cost plus pricing system, definitely it's easy to calculate. There's a one benefit and easy to calculate. And cost plus pricing system always guaranteed a profit margin. Generally, explaining the theory part, is always guarantees a profit margin. That's called cost plus pricing system. However, the negative side of the cost plus pricing system is, it's not guaranteed. Sometimes external factors and everything, other influences, competition and everything ignored by the cost plus pricing system. And moreover, cost plus pricing system, you can't 100% accurately calculate the cost of a business organization, especially like variable cost, right? So you can mention those things with the application. Your touch of application is really, really important, right? This discussion question, look at the answer. When you're like doing this kind of thing, and then knowledge part, cost plus pricing is a cost-based method for setting the prices of goods and services, and it is calculated by adding the markup percentage to the cost of the product. Definition is required. What is cost plus and how cost plus pricing works? That's the first paragraph should be. And look at the point benefits. It is simple and quick way of pricing. Simple and quick method of pricing, especially when Primark sells large portfolio of goods, right? That's an application also. There are large portfolio of goods, especially for men, women, children. The cost plus method offer guaranteed of a profit margin. I told you, cost plus always guaranteed profit of this clothes sales. If Primark find that costs are rising, it can take appropriate steps by varying the price. If Primark finds that the costs are rising, it can take appropriate steps by varying the price. They can change the price. However, points are also important. However, this method of pricing does not take into account the actions of the competitors. The external environment doesn't care. They just take the cost and the profit margin only. It may that the Primark could price its goods higher in line with the prices of the competitor. There's a risk, right? The normal market, the price is going like a $3, but your prices are $6. You don't know what's the prices of the competitors. And moreover, it is often difficult to accurately calculate the cost, total cost of producing a product. Primark sources goods from around the world, labor cost, material cost, delivery cost, exchange. Changes will change regularly. Therefore, I see Primark is very difficult to accurately calculate the total cost of a business, right? Not only Primark, every business like that. It's very difficult to accurately calculate the cost of a business. So Primark sources goods from all around the world, like they have 31 countries are there according to case study, especially labor, material, delivery, and exchange rate will be changed regularly. So you can see in this answer, there is no conclusion, no need of a conclusion, and there's a definition, 2 positives and 2 negatives, 2, right? So level-based marking system you are following when you're marking your answers, level 1, level 2, level 3. When you go to level 3, level only, we are checking your knowledge, application, analysis, and evaluation, everything. If you have everything in the level 3 level, you can give to 6 to 8 marks for your answer. 6 to 8 marks for your answer. Okay, let's go to the last question of the section A. That's a 10-mark question. As I told you, assess the importance of Primark of having ethical sourcing as a business objective. Ethical sourcing, the case study, the section B of the case study, we can see the ethical sourcing, we talk about that. They ask the importance of ethical sourcing. It's mentioned that they have a own protocols to earn Primark ethical sourcing standards are there. They are maintaining that not use child labor and have always ensure the safety and all that regulation, safety regulation they are checking, and all they have 100 members of team, to go to this factories and check whether these organizations are doing great thing. They have spot checks and audits are going on. It's really good initiation by the Primark. So asking about this importance of this thing, this ethical sourcing, it's very important part. So what is the ethical sourcing benefit with the Primark? So when you go with the marking scheme, you can see the ethical sourcing here, the definition, knowledge, application, analysis, and evaluation is there. So all the content they are checking, knowledge, application, analysis, evaluation. The 10-mark structure is my student always have a definition. You can start your answer with the definition. And then as usual, like 8-marker, 2 positives, 2 negatives. And here you need a conclusion. So that's the difference between 8-marker and a 10-marker. So at the end, you have to write a separate conclusion para is important to 8-marker. Right? So ethical sourcing is where the business buy materials and products that are produced using fair working conditions and or with or negative impact on the environment. Right? So that's the definition. Ethical sourcing is a fair working conditions, produced using fair working conditions and with no negative impact on the environment. So in this case, the Primark Code of Conduct is a set of ethical principles that suppliers must commit to. The Primark Code of Conduct is a set of ethical principles that suppliers must commit to. The code states, among other things, that child labor shall not be used. So that is application. They have all their code of conduct. It says that child labor shall not be used. You have to mention those things. The things that I told you to underline, you have to use in this thing. So don't copy and paste the large chunk of the points in the case study, because always examiner mentioning that thing in your answer, because the examiner has seen this kind of responses from you, that students are just copy and paste the case study materials, entire case study, chunk of case study copy paste things are going on. So don't do that in examination, because it's always giving a negative impression for the marking person. Examiner, that's you're only just copy and paste and not you're using your own words. So basically, this is very important to understand that when you're writing some answer, use the case study, the highlighted points I told you, the main importance like child labor, they are prohibiting that. And it is important to Primark that there is an increasing awareness about the ethics of clothes manufacturing. Bad publicity could damage the reputation of Primarks and impact its sales, right? There's increasing awareness also there. They're going on about this ethics and clothing manufacturing, especially these companies are trading in the UK, in the London Stock Exchange and everything. It's a big multinational companies. It's a reputational problem for them. They get to know that they are going to be happen. Therefore, they can proudly sell their product. That they can proudly say we are not using child labor. We are not damaging environment, right? Like that. So having reputation for poor ethics could lead to poor sales, right? So that's the importance of ethics is like that. It's damage the publicity. If you have poor reputation, poor ethical record and everything, what happened? The consumers are aware and concerned about the problems. Ethical sourcing may lead to improve employee motivation, which may result in improved customer service for Primark customers and increase revenue for the company. So you can build a nice business model. Why? Because employees are also motivated because they ensure that they are given the safety practices, safe working conditions. Talk about another aspect of the ethical sourcing, not only child labor, even safe working conditions. If you have improve your working conditions, worker motivation will increase. When the employee motivation increases, you can give a better positive product to the customer. So that also improving their customer service in Primarks. Actually, the factory workers are not dealing directly with the customer. I mean that the empire of the Primark. I mean the customers, not only factory working conditions. I'm talking about even the showroom working conditions as well. So if everyone happy worker, happy customer. According to Jack Ma, his philosophy is like that: happy worker and happy customer. So that principle followed by the Primark also you can see here. So if you make the employee motivation, then you can give a nice customer service to their customers and increase the revenue for the company. Look at however, the other side, the evaluation part, the counter arguments. Ethical sourcing, what is the bad side? The negative side of ethical sourcing. However, ethically is costly, right? Nice things are not cheap. Paying fair wages, for example, will push up the cost of the clothes, which may affect the Primark's unique selling point, USP of offering low prices. So that can hit their marketing strategy. Why? Because ethical sourcing is not cheaper method, but to ensure that these standards are complying with these things, no child labor, working practices are safe and sound, You have to invest some amount of money. So you can't make the businesses a profit, right? So sometimes low profit margin is because your unique selling point is selling a product at low prices, but here you can't do it. That will be a challenging problem. That's why, however, it will be costly, and their unique selling point will be, which cannot be achieved. Sometimes will push up the cost as a result of that. That will be a challenge. You have to identify both sides of the answer, especially in 10 markers. And also, ethical sourcing may not be a primary objective of any concern of the Primark. I mean, the person who doing business, I think, business world, if you think about the angle of the businessman, ethical sourcing is not their primary objective. What is the primary objective? Making money. So ethical sourcing is go against the rule. Like this, there are concepts like CSR and ethics and everything. Therefore, ethical sourcing may not be the primary objective. It can be like secondary objective, right? You have to do something. And then it may be concerned with the keeping prices low and achieving higher market share. Sometimes their main market condition right now, they mention in the case also they want to go to second position in the UK market. They want to beat the next, right? And conclusion, look at the conclusion para. It is debatable. You have to always give some kind of balancing. It is debatable, or it is depending on whether consumers are actually concerned with this ethical sourcing, right? We will find out whether actually the US customers, UK customers, European customers, are they really concerning about this ethical principle, ethical sourcing? I believe yes, because these customers are really concerning about these things right now. That's the consumer trend. Because with the social media, because the awareness has increased, they really have awareness because of the social media. Right? If something happened, they can, within minutes, they can actually go some bad publish, some bad information can go viral. So therefore, with ethical sourcing, whether they are not more concerned low price fashion sometimes. Some customers are concerned with low price fashion. So that's your target market. This cheap market might be. So therefore, the more important Primark to keep the prices low and maintain customer loyalty. You can talk about, argue like that way, because your target market is a cheap customers, and then your target market is a cheap customer. They are not that much concerning about the ethical sourcing. Therefore, you should continue to carry on that business objective and not the ethical sourcing. You can use some counter argument at the end. Okay, so today in my sessions, I mainly talk about the 2019 paper unit 1, and I talk about the mainly section A. So in my next session, right, you can actually continue this session. So 2019 January, the first new syllabus IAL paper unit 1 section A we done. So in my next session, we'll keep this video. Section B, we can discuss another question like this with another case study. See you. Please subscribe my channel and share this, and you can get the best benefit before your coming up exams. Have a nice day. Thank you.